I'm Christina from Be Cool Homeschool. I am outside right now, so I'm hoping it's not too windy, but the kids are out playing, so this is my chance to record and still be able to see what they're doing at all times. I am a homeschool mom, soon to be homeschooling 2 kindergartners, as well as a 7-year-old who is going to be a 3rd grader. So today I'm going to share with you guys different games that are educational and then some games that are not educational. We use these a lot of times over Christmas break, summer break, some of our breaks we take throughout the year, and then of course for evening games just to play with the kids. Fun games that we can make educational that are not necessarily educational when you buy them. And I'm going to show you guys how we use them as educational games. So come along with me and I will share you. I'm going to turn the camera around and you will be able to see these games. Start with these 3 games. We got these out during Wacky Wednesday during Dr. Seuss week, and they were so much fun. We decided to continue to use these and to continue to enjoy them as educational games. So I'm going to start with each one of them. This one is Pimple Pete, and it literally is just a head on like a base, if you can see. And what we use this one for is every time they got an answer wrong, they had to pop a pimple. And eventually, they got enough wrong, the pimple they popped would squirt out. However, it got to the point where they were wanting to pop a pimple so that they could get sprayed by the water. So eventually, they were getting it wrong on purpose. So we switched it up, and if they got the answer right, they got to pop a pimple. So this is called Pimple Pete, and although it sounds pretty gross, my children love it, and it's funny, and it's enjoyable, and we are able to make it educational to go along with any worksheet page we're doing, any activity. If it's flashcards, if we're just practicing, we'll grab out the flashcards, and we will do it with those. This one is Gooey Louie, and it's Pick a Winner. Again, it looks like a very disgusting game. Again, it's just the head, and then it has a brain in the top of the head that pops down into it on a base. And so you can kind of see what it looks like right here. So this, it says Gooey Louie, and this game is a lot like Pimple Pete, but instead of popping a pimple, you have to pick his nose. So again, we started out, if they got an answer wrong, we would do flashcards, or we would do them with our worksheets. And if they got an answer wrong, they'd have to pull a booger out. And then eventually the brain would pop up. So the problem with that again is they want it to be able to pull it out all the time. So we had to do it if they got the answer right. This last one is a perfect party game. It's called Wet Head. We play this a lot for family nights in the evenings. It's so much fun. We decided to start using this one as one of our educational games as well. Again, if they got the answer right or if they got it wrong, depending how your children are and if they want to get wet or not. It's just a hat that you put on your head filled with water, and you pull these little pieces out, and eventually you will get sprayed. So this is a game that, of course, they wanted to pull them out again. So they wanted to get wet, and it was fun. So we had to make sure if they got the answer right, they would get to do that. And if they got the answer wrong, they'd have to wait till the next turn to get to do it. So that was the games that we had that weren't bought for educational games. Now I'm going to show you the games that are educational and how we play them and incorporate them into our homeschool. So this next game is called Math Room, and I'm going to explain to you kind of how this works without trying to take it out of the box. The key has adding on one side, subtraction on the other, and their goal is to roll the die, and all the numbers are different on each key. So like this one says 2, so they would do for the blue, so then it would be 2 plus the 4, and then they would have to cover up their number. So they ring the bell if they get it right, and then I will check their answer, and if they do, then we just move on, because they want to be the first one to ring the bell. So that's what we do with this. And then we also do a math racing game with flashcards that I'll show you next. So I mentioned the flashcards. So this set, when they were practicing just knowing what the numbers were called, they would have to be the first to say what that number is. So they were all kind of learning their numbers together. And then eventually I just wrote on index cards, and we would do like hundreds and thousands as well. Addition and our subtraction. So we have races to see who can get the answer the fastest. Usually my 7-year-old can do it. So explain to our girls, the goal is to beat the 7-year-old, to try to get it faster than him. And they have actually beat him a few times. And the next one is the telling time. So we have 2 different ones, and then they race to see who can tell the time the fastest. So the kindergartners are really still only doing o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. So they really don't know how to tell this time, but they have learned to count by 5s just by playing this game, and so they can kind of do it even though they can't do it as fast as a 7-year-old. They are learning to. So this one I feel like was a little bit more difficult, but the girls have learned to count by 5s and 10s, so they can get these just as fast as my 7-year-old. Now when they're mixed, it's a little bit harder for them, but they do like to try. And so as you can see, obviously that one they can all try at the same time. And so as they get an answer right, they get to keep that card. So they want to have the most cards at the end of our little race. This is another game that we bought from Simply Fun for ages 7 and up. However, my 5-year-old likes to play this as well, my 5-year-old. So this is the game. It says stack the cheese wedge on the matching color platform if you can add a mouse. So you do the same color, and then if it falls, you can knock over it and you get 0 points, but everybody else gets to add up how many they had on that tower. So to score, they are actually doing multiplication. So these are each worth 1 point, and then you times it by how many mice you have. So right here you would have 4 cheese wedges times 2. So that player would get 8 points. So what we do for my daughter, since she's not quite got multiplication down yet, but my 7-year-old is learning, the girls will actually just do, instead of do 4 times 2, they would do 4 plus 4, which would be the same. So like however many they have here, then they would add 4. So they'd have 4 of these, so they know that, okay, and then 2 mouse. So I know I got to add 4 2 times. So 4 plus 4 is 8, so it'd give them the same answer. So yeah, so that's how we use this for learning, and like I said, we do use it with the kindergartners as well as the 7-year-old. This is another Simply Fun game. It's called Tibbar's Big Box of Words. There's different ones, and so actually my 7-year-old has also done these. So put your card in, so I think I put that in, and then you cover up the word, and then it wants you to try to spell it. So you sound out deer, and you put your letters in, okay, and then you check to see if it's spelled right. So this is something that's perfect for my kindergartners, but also my 7-year-old practices his spelling as well with this and really enjoys it. Use is Gamenote. They have all different types of these on Amazon. I had just bought this one, but my kids absolutely love playing this. And also one has a big, what I call a big lake, and you just spread it out. What we do with this is I only put in there the ones they're working with. So the kindergartners are doing the red level, which is level 1. So they will pick out when they do their fishing. So they each have a fishing pole like this, which has a magnet on it. So, whoops, so you can see. So what they do is we only put the colors in that we are working on, and I'll take all the rest of them out. So the kindergartners can only pick the red ones so that they would know it. So the red is kindergarten level, so that way they know exactly which ones to pick. And then my 2nd grader is working more on the blue, green, and purple level, so we just sometimes put in the different ones. Usually it's the green or the purple. Now the blue level is more like probably I'd say like a 1st grade-ish level. So, but yeah, so he just practices. So we usually put blue or green in right now for him, and then eventually we'll put purple in for him, and then like I said, we'll just move on, and they only pick the colors that they need and that they're working on. That way we can play all these together. They got this for back to school as one of their little incentives this past year, and we didn't play it as much as I would have liked to. We do break it out every now and then. However, it's perfect for my kindergartners right now. There's some of the different games, as you can see. There's a game board right here, so that's one of them, and they're working on these different sounds. So although my 2nd grader have already worked on all these, they are great practice because they are ones that he frequently forgets. And then the other side, again, has several that are easily forgotten, but yet my kindergartners can also learn, because although they won't know these words as easily, we can definitely practice them and say them, and I feel like the more that they hear them, the better they'll remember them. Then there's a couple other games. This one, as you can see, they just they read it and they got to decide, is it actually a sentence or not. So will a pen fit in a box? Is it a sentence, yes or no? And then they will check it to see if it's got a check mark on it or an X on it. The other one right here is just, again, special sounds, and it's just dominoes with special sounds. So the fish would need an SH on the end, so they would put that one on there. And then this one is a more common one, but they literally are just learning their words and putting little puzzles together. So this one I keep in our reading center all the time so that the kindergartners can break it out and play it anytime they want. Another one of the games that we can play all together, and they're getting practice with sight words. I will draw a word out, and then they put these fun little pieces on top of the word. Oops. They put these fun pieces on the word that they do it, and it just covers it up. And so they all can be practicing sight words at the same time, but also getting recognition. If they don't know them, they can see them, and just the more they see them, the easier they will start memorizing them. So this is another one I got from Amazon. They flip the flashcard over, they sound out the word, and they write it. And so they can actually do this side if they want and try to sound it out themselves, or they can, if they're needing to, they can do this side and not worry about the side without the picture. So they would just flip it to make the word the right way. As you can see, I have other pieces in there so they can both be doing it at the same time if they would like. Boggle Junior, I don't keep it in the box, I just keep it in a clear tub with some of our other pieces. They just put one in, and a lot of times I will tell them to put several in at a time, write the word, and then they can flip it and see if they are correct. And obviously you can see I am not correct. So then they can spell it the right way when they are correct, and then they can take that card out without seeing the next card and still be able to do that. So this is another one that's always in the reading center that they can practice, but I plan on sitting down and playing it with them more often this summer. This is another game I bought from the fabric store actually, and it was like a 4 games in 1 pack. So as you can see, it has all kinds of learning games. This one is Subtraction. I don't do these as often because my 2nd grader is actually doing level 3 math, so he's kind of past this, but we were working on this quite a bit. And these games we were doing during the school year, and the kindergartners were actually learning fractions, and they are just now getting introduced to fractions, but because of this game, they learned what a fraction was and was able to figure out fractions pretty quickly on because of this. This one was money. The one thing I didn't like about this one was that, as you can see, it shows the amounts instead of what a coin actually looks like. So instead of coin recognition, it's more just practicing how to count money using the amounts that a coin is worth. Okay, and then we have this one, Be on Time, and this is again one that the kindergartners are just now starting to tell time, but they practice and were able to learn alongside my 2nd grader just by playing this game. It was a little bit more difficult, but they're learning that you have to count by 5s to figure out what the time is. So that was another fun one. And the last one is Picnic Edition. And this one I played with one of the kindergartners and my 7-year-old last year actually, to teach him how to add double digits, and I was surprised to see that my kindergartner actually picked up how to carry just by playing this game. So she was able to learn double digits just by playing it with her big brother. So definitely take advantage of these games. Even if you think your different age groups can't do it, you may be surprised that they might pick up on things just by playing along with you guys. These are a couple other letter games that I keep in my reading center at all time. These are just fun letters. The girls try to spell their own words and play kind of like Scrabble. But I just let them play with letters however they want. Sometimes they'll get the pictures out and use them. This is a letter game, and each character, when you land on their spot, has a different thing to do. So like red, you have to learn rhyming words and come up with more rhyming words for it. The pig is, it wants you to point to one of the letters every time. And Princess P, it'll want you to pick the word or the letter that the word starts with, and then Super Y will want you to pick the word that will make sense in his sentence, because I wear a pig on my head does not make sense. And then if they still can't figure it out, you can read the clue to them so that they know, oh, it's a hat. I wear a hat on my head. So that is a very fun one. I use this. My 7-year-old was obsessed with Super Wise, so we bought him this game and the Super Wide costume to play with it, and it has become a favorite at our house, and the kindergartners also are now into it, and I plan to use it with my 1-year-old as well. This is my last game, and then I'm going to show you one more thing that we use in the summertime to make summer learning more fun. Okay, this is a spell check game. The kindergartners, we just pick out the pieces that we need for it. So instead of using like which now they are on 4-letter words, we would just pick out the cards with 3-letter words, and they would only use those cards, and then eventually they can do the 4-letter words. So this is another educational one on spelling and reading. The last thing I wanted to share with you, these are the Get Crafty and Let's Get Moving. These became a fun thing during quarantine last year when my children were getting antsy, and we were used to going all the time, and then we were stuck at home all the time. So when they were getting bored, it was a rainy day, so we would pick one of these out, and like they would make a ribbon wand. It would tell you what you needed, and then you can make those things, and then that would help them to get their creativity going. So we plan on using these again this summer when it gets too hot to be outside, and just to enjoy something a little different, but still to be able to use their creative side to use those. We would pull these out, and we would share them on our Facebook page for our church. It says clean up, race, who can pick up the most fastest, and so they would get to do some of these fun games with that as well. So another one would be do 10 jumping jacks. So these were actually good to use during the regular school day as well, but we're going to really focus on them this summer. But we would pull them out if they were getting restless and they were needing something to get their energy out. They would do these. So that sums up the extra games and activities that we also plan to do this summer. Check out my other summer fun learning video. I'll link it below, and I'll see you next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe below if you want to see more videos like this.